Hi everyone, welcome back to Faith and Flour and Happy New Year. This is Robin, and in today's video I'm going to share with you a recipe for the most delicious pork tenderloin that is super easy, along with some amazing sides. And this is my go-to recipe to provide for a friend in need, so someone that's just home from the hospital or is sick, a new parent. Also, it's wonderful to serve guests and my family loves it. This delicious meal was made by my good friend Maria and given to my family when I had surgery. Maria, if you're watching, thank you so much. It has been a family favorite ever since. I have 2 pork tenderloins, and I just season them with a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. And then I cook them in the oven at about 400 to 425 degrees. And I absolutely love using my meat thermometer for this. I put the thermometer in the meat, I set it to 145 degrees, and then there's a little alarm that will let me know when it's finished. So I don't have to think about it at all, and I am free to prepare the other sides that I want to include for the meal tonight. I will try to see if I can find a similar meat thermometer to put in my Amazon store, and you can find the link for my Amazon store in the description box. To go along with the pork tenderloin, I'm going to have some jasmine rice with caramelized onions and some green beans. So I'm chopping up my onions. And so I'll take about a half of an onion and just chop that roughly to add to the green beans, and I'll start that sauteing, and the rest I will slice thinly for the caramelized onions that I'm going to put on top of the rice. I add about a tablespoon of butter to both of the pans to caramelize the onions, and I just cook them at a low temperature until they are tender and they start to turn slightly brown. While the onions are cooking, I'm going to make the sauce, and this is really the star of this meal. It is so delicious, yet so simple, and that's what I love about it. I am doubling the recipe that I'm going to share with you today because I find that the best thing when you are making a meal for a friend is just to go ahead and make 2 so that you have one for them and one for your family. For this sauce, you will just need to stir together 1/3 cup of mayonnaise, 1/3 cup of sour cream, about a half a teaspoon of mustard powder. You can add a little bit more to taste if you like, a dash of cumin, 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, and a 1/4 cup of green onions or chives. You can also add a little salt and pepper to taste and then chill it for about a half an hour. This sauce is amazing on the pork tenderloin, and it would also be great to keep as a condiment in your refrigerator for sandwiches and things like that too. My family loves it, and every time I make this for someone, they ask me for the recipe. It takes a few minutes to caramelize the onions. Just keep them at a fairly low heat and check them once in a while, just stirring occasionally until they are soft, translucent, and start to turn a golden brown. And once this happens, for the chopped onions, I add the green beans. The green beans are my addition to this meal, and I adapted this from a Rachel Ray recipe years ago. It's basically taking some fresh or frozen green beans and sauteing them along with the onions. I add a splash of either balsamic vinegar or some red wine vinegar. You can also use cider vinegar, and then about a tablespoon of sugar. Stir, cover, and then allow the green beans to cook on the stovetop at medium heat until they are tender. Just before the onions start to caramelize, add about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and a tablespoon of honey. Continue to saute the onions until they turn a nice golden brown. My favorite rice to use for this recipe is jasmine, and I love making it in my Instant Pot because it couldn't be easier. For the Instant Pot, the ratio is 1 cup of jasmine rice to 1 cup of water. If you're making it on the stovetop, it would be 1 cup of rice and 2 cups of water. And then you would add about a teaspoon each of salt, garlic powder, and olive oil. Set your Instant Pot to the pressure mode for 4 minutes. It comes out perfect every time. extra layer of yumminess to the green beans, I like to sprinkle on some bacon bits for the last 5 or 10 minutes of its cook time. When everything's finished, it's time to package it up and get it ready for delivery. I usually fill a small mason jar with the sauce. This is usually more than enough for one meal, and it's just so great, as I said, to keep in your refrigerator as a condiment. For everything else, I just buy the inexpensive sort of plastic disposable containers. I think Glad makes them. These actually came from Target. They are now BPA free and they seal really well, so they transport very well. They also make it very easy for the recipient if they have any leftovers, and they don't have to worry about returning containers to you. Once the rice is in the container, I put a layer of these delicious caramelized onions all over the top. Maria's idea of adding a little honey and garlic powder to the onions is genius. It adds such a depth of flavor to the onions and in turn to the rice. This rice would make a great side to lots of different meals, and it's a really great recipe to transport. The rice stays hot for a long period of time, and so it always arrives nice and fresh and delicious. The pork is best when it has a little period of time to rest, so if I package it up right out of the oven, it's perfect when it arrives as well. And there you have it. The next time you want to provide a meal for someone, you're equipped to deliver something hot and homemade that I know they're going to love as much as our family does. If you give this recipe a try, definitely let me know in the comments. I would love to get your feedback. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe. Subscribing is absolutely free and easy. All you have to do is click on my picture. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a great week and Happy New Year.